Let's talk about all the signings the Chiefs have made so far this week, their historically difficult back half of the schedule, and then look at an intriguing running back that, if released, could potentially find himself in KC to chase a ring and make the room much better. But first, how about those? All right, first up, the Chiefs made things official by signing 5 of their 2023 NFL draft picks, and those players were 3rd rounder offensive tackle Wanye Morris, 4th rounder safety Chamari Connor, 5th rounder defensive end BJ Thompson, 6th round defensive tackle Keandre Coburn, and defensive back Nick Jones, their 7th round pick. And that leaves only their 1st and 2nd round picks in Felix and Udike Uzama and Rashee Rice needing to get contracts signed, which should happen very soon, but these deals typically take a bit longer because they're going to have the largest impact on the Chiefs salary cap of all of their draft picks. And in case you were wondering, here's the projected contracts on the 5 players that did just sign based on their draft slots. And on top of that, the Chiefs also announced with this graphic that they signed 14 UDFAs, with those players being cornerback Echo Boydo from Kansas State, guard Jerome Carvin from Tennessee, safety Anthony Cook out of Texas, offensive tackle Anderson Hardy, Appalachian State, linebacker Cam Jones from Indiana, defensive end Truman Jones from Harvard, linebacker Isaiah Moore from NC State, safety Isaiah Norman from Marshall, running back Deneric Prince out of Tulsa, wide receiver Nico Remigio out of Fresno State, cornerback Reese Taylor from Purdue, cornerback Anthony, not Witherspoon, but Witherstone out of Merrimack, and then offensive tackle Chukwuebuka Jason Godric out of Nigeria, and finally cornerback Khalif Helassi, Western Tennessee. A couple of doozies at the end there as far as their name pronunciations go, but that is the 19 players officially signed this week, and you guys watching could be the next ones to sign up for a subscription of my coffee. The HBTC blend from Benchwarmer Brew is absolutely fantastic and one of the best medium roasts I've ever tasted. Look at Jack's review. He agrees. With Ethiopian and Mexican origins consisting of chocolate and citrus, this definitely has the taste of victory and will leave you with a buzz to help jumpstart your day or night, like I am literally doing right now with this iced coffee. You can also save 25% on the price if you sign up for a subscription by going to coffee.hbtchiefs.com. Anyway, back to the subject of UDFAs, because I also found out that the Chiefs have given out the most guaranteed money to UDFAs this year compared to any other team, with a total of $1.12 million. With the New York Jets and Philadelphia Eagles coming in 2nd and 3rd. And then at the bottom of this list were the Bills, some other teams, then the Bengals, with the Bengals only giving out $35,000 in guaranteed money to UDFAs, and that is a big difference. $1.12 million compared to $35,000. Holy freaking smokes. And this is intriguing to me because you have a winning organization paying out the most guaranteed to undrafted free agents, which in theory means they believe in injecting the floor of many of these position groups with as much talent as possible. And as an undrafted player, who wouldn't want to come play for the winningest organization over the last 5 years that's also paying out the most guaranteed money? I see nothing but good things in the Chiefs taking chances on players they believe in, especially if they think it's going to make these position groups more competitive. Plus, while undrafted free agents making the roster and contributing effectively on an active roster isn't commonplace, it's happened plenty before in the past. Think of these guys: Wes Welker, Antonio Gates, Priest Holmes, Kurt Warner, Tony Romo, and more recently for the Chiefs, though maybe not as impactful, yet still impactful in their own way, Byron Pringle, Turk Wharton, Daryl the Barrel Williams, Ben Neiman, Marcus Kemp, Darius Harris, Jack Cochran, Tommy Townsend, Shane Buechele, DiCaprio Bootle, and the list goes on. Sure, most of the guys I just mentioned with the Chiefs weren't the best players in their position group, but many of them have either made the roster and helped contribute to the Chiefs' success or have stepped in when injuries occurred and played their role. And you can't argue with the team's success in recent years, and therefore I'm not going to do it now. However, I will question another organization, as their star wideout Davante Adams has recently as well. Even though Davante had an incredible year last season, 3rd most in receiving yards with 1,516, led the league in touchdowns with 14, and also in cameraman shoves to the ground with 1, the Raiders did not do well overall. They finished 6-11, and Davante's former college teammate and friend Derek Carr got benched, then quit, and is now a Saint. And a big part of the reason Davante went to Las Vegas in the first place was for No, was for money, okay, first and foremost, but then it was to reunite with Derek Carr. But hey, at least he gets to play alongside basically another Derek Carr that is a little bit better looking, but way more injury prone in Jimmy G for the foreseeable future. Anyway, I say all that to say, Davante was recently quoted in an interview saying that he doesn't see eye to eye with the Raiders front office. Quote, "The front office thinks this is the best bet for us right now to put us in a position to be urgent, but we don't see eye to eye on what we think is best for us right now." He then said, "I'm going to have to buy into this and try and be as optimistic as possible. It's not what I expected to happen, but it's something that's the reality now." Well, Davante, what on earth did you think was going to happen? The Raiders have had 7 losing seasons in the last 10 years. They have a truly incapable head coach, got rid of Carr, traded away Darren Waller, and cannot draft to save their miserable organization's life. Yet, Davante is still out here saying the goal in Vegas is to win a ring. I mean, by signing with the Raiders, he not only guaranteed himself to never win a Super Bowl ring in his career, but he has to know deep down that he will be miserable for years to come with this team, especially if he's already publicly complaining about not being in agreement with the Raiders front office. But hey, at least he's making a bunch of money. Next up, I saw an interesting report from Warren Sharp via an analysis of the Chiefs' schedule, and based on his research, this is something that has never happened before. He even went back 35 years to double check it, and that is this. The Chiefs play 6 straight games with less rest than their opponents. That's right, from week 12 to week 17, every single game the Chiefs play is at a rest disadvantage, which you can see here from this article as Sharp reveals the Chiefs have a net rest edge of -13, the 3rd worst in the NFL this year, but it's the 6 straight weeks that make it so brutal. Week 12, they are off a Monday night football game when they play the Raiders, so 1 day less rest. Week 13, they play the Packers, who played on Thanksgiving the week prior, so 3 days less rest. Week 14, they play the Bills, who are off of a bye week, so 7 days less rest. Week 15, they play the Patriots, who are off a Thursday night game, so 3 days less rest. Week 16, they play the Raiders, who are off a Thursday night game, but because KC is off a Monday night game, it is 4 days less rest for the Chiefs. Week 17, they play the Bengals, who are off a Saturday game, but because KC is off another Monday night game, it is 2 days less rest for the Chiefs. So basically, yikes. Sharp then says for there to be 6 games in a row where they are dealing with, most often, multiple days rest disadvantage, and for them to come late in the season as they do, will be extremely challenging for the Chiefs. And in case you were wondering, in 2021, the Chiefs were +9 in net rest edge, which was 5th best, and in 2022, the Chiefs were +7 in net rest edge, which was 6th best. So they are definitely in the opposite end of the spectrum this season with a -20 in net rest from week 12 to the end of the season. That's the key right there. A -20 in net rest from week 12 through the end of the season. Absolutely brutal with the rest disadvantage and the caliber of teams they are playing. But if anyone can get the job done, it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes II. I don't know what I just did there. Anyway, next up, there has been some rumors connecting Vikings running back Dalvin Cook to the Kansas City Chiefs. And here's kind of what's going on. Basically, Cook's future with the Vikings is open-ended. And it's reported that the Vikings want to do right by Dalvin Cook and are even opening to listening to trade offers for him and want him to go to a place where he can play and be happy, whether that is via a trade or a release, or they said there's a chance he can still be on the roster. But with that being said, it was reported in this article from Pro Football Network that the Chiefs could be a sleeper team to land the former Pro Bowler and therefore to not overlook this possibility from happening. You see, Dalvin's cap hit this year is like $14 million, but by releasing him after June 1st, the move would save the Vikings $9 million against the cap this year, yes, but $32.8 million over the remaining 3 years of his extension. So if Cook was to be released, this is where the Chiefs could potentially come into play. I mean, who wouldn't want to take a pay cut and chase a ring with Patrick Mahomes and the greatest offense in the league? Plus, Cook would immediately make the running back room way better overall. He's had 4 straight seasons of at least 1,100 yards rushing and also had nearly 300 yards receiving and a couple receiving TDs last season. And Owain Jones, the author of this article from Pro Football Network, said that Cook would enter Kansas City as the RB1 and a true 3-down back that would continue to take pressure and attention off of Mahomes and the passing game. The added threat that Cook possesses will open up more opportunities for the passing attack and would provide Andy Reid with some special opportunities for play design. He also said this would be a savvy investment for the Chiefs as they aim to run the ball more, take attention away from the passing game, and protect Mahomes. And then he lists other reasons such as Pacheco coming off of multiple surgeries this offseason, CEH being a bit of an unknown, but Dalvin Cook, gotta say this, is coming off of shoulder surgery as well this offseason, and in order for a signing like this to even happen, they'd have to free up cap space via a contract restructure for somebody, maybe like Chris Jones. Personally, I don't think this is super likely to happen. I would think there's other more pressing needs on the team currently, like the D-line, but a Dalvin Cook signing is a bit more intriguing to me than all the DeAndre Hopkins talk. And it's worth noting that Dan Harms of RGR said that if Dalvin Cook is cut by the Vikings, he'd like to see him in KC. Adam Best of Arrowhead Addict said that while Cook has lost some explosiveness, he is a true all-purpose back and would probably disguise play calling better than Pacheco or McKinnon. If he wants to chase a ring on a budget price tag, it could work. And Charles Goldman of Chiefs Wire said that this would make a ton of sense, and a backfield consisting of Cook alongside Pacheco and McKinnon would be killer. So yeah, Cook is about to turn 28, has dealt with some injuries, but has also proven to be productive year in and year out, and definitely would be a blessing to the Chiefs running back room. But that's where I want to get your thoughts on all of this. Would you like to see Dalvin Cook suit up with the Chiefs if they had the money? And if so, how likely do you think this is to even happen? And two, how awesome or not awesome would a move like this be in your opinion for the Chiefs and their offense? Do you think a wide receiver move is more pressing than a running back, or maybe a different position altogether? Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?